as your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only 'cause I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, 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 say what you're dying to say. No, oh, tonight we're stars but we'll fade away. Go on and light me up, oh, go on and light me up while we're golden. Come on and light me up, oh, come on and light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down, so before we come down, down, down. Go on and light me up, oh, go.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Three by three.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. To the finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Hello everybody and welcome into PGR eSports live from the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Get ready for another good one here tonight. 60 laps in the Gen 6 series. Joining me in the booth as always, co-host Matthew Baker. Baker, how you feeling tonight?
Feeling good. This is going to be a great race we're going to put on tonight here in the Gen 6 at Talladega. Hopefully this will be a good look at what the SummerSlam 499 is going to look like. We're debating between this one and the Xfinity cars. We'll see how this rolls out here tonight. But 50 cars up on the grid right now. Actually 49 it looks like. Going to be a stout field.
Big field, one of the biggest fields I've seen in a long time, and for it to be in these cars, certainly going to be interesting. All right, let's get right into things with your starting grid here tonight. Kevin Freese takes the pole with a 51.9. Rolling off on his outside in second, it'll be Kyler Wynn with Jason Means back in third. Garrett Means to his outside in fourth. Omar Diallo in fifth. Andrew Navarro back in sixth. Sean Conklin will start in seventh. I don't think we've seen Sean before, but he is one of the veteran guys in terms of iRacing, so we'll see what he can do here tonight. John Ellis Jr. will roll off eighth. Cody Nagels in ninth, and J.R. Miller rounds out your top 10. Moving on back to the 11th spot, find the Coke Series driver Michael Guest. Matt Lee will roll off on his outside in 12th for Nightmare Esports. And then moving on back to row number 7, it's Landon Valecki and John Mullahan. Row number 8 is going to be Richard Elliott and Steven Miles. Jeff Burke 17th, Sean Corbett 18th. Devin Ray and DJ Daniels round out your top 20. Ron Morris Jr., Malik Ray make up row number 11. It'll be Mark Math in 23rd, Joe Herta 24th. Michael Triscaro, series owner, and his teammate Mike Davenport making up row number 13. Back in row 14, it's Zach Range and Mark Fondell. Kevin Biggs, Matt Johnson making up row 15. Sarah Clampert starts 31st, Tyler Butler in 32nd. Jared Haynes in 33rd, Jeremy Osborne in 34th, Brandon Broadfoot, Nathan Rosticle in row 18, Dylan Jones and Francisco Villarreal in row 19. And rounding out your top 40 here tonight is going to be John Ward and Logan York. Moving on back to 41st, it's Jacob Emery with Joshua McCullough in 42nd, Cameron Rourke 43rd, Brock Westmoreland 44th, Christopher McCullough 45th, Ken McCullough Jr. in 46th, Jesse Calloway 47th, Tucker McLennan 48th, and Josh Gambrone rounds out that 49 card field here tonight. Looking at your race info, the breakdown. Again, 60 laps, the total distance here tonight. 50% fuel, no fast repairs, unlimited tires, fixed setups as always, and then 3 green-white checkers. Track temp, very hot as well, 130 degrees. And then Talladega, 2.65 miles, over 30 degrees of banking in the corners. Clear skies, light winds, and beautiful weather at 73 degrees. Great day to go racing in the sim. And thank you all to everybody that is tuning in. We're ready to get going as the pace car is going to make the left turn for the first time here tonight. Field in the hands of Kevin Freeze and Kyler Wynn. Here we go. 2 by 2. They line up through the trial as they'll roll their way into the Geico restart zone. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Talladega.
Kyler Wynn to the lead there on the outside. He's getting pushed by Garrett Maines. These 3 last time dominated at Daytona and came down to the last lap, last corner, almost got the win over him. But Kyler Wynn, very good in these cars, very good at managing his temps and managing the runs. He's going to be working with Omar and Malik today. They've got 2 separate packs, so it looks like Cody and Eagles dropped to the back, but now they're starting to lose a little bit of ground here. 3 wide towards that second pack. That's not going to help them out too much.
And now, I'll tell you what, Baker, we've seen this quite a bit, though, in these cars out of pretty much all the series we race, including the next gens. It seems like it's the easiest to get those separations with packs with these cars, but at the same time, we've seen them also closing back together the quickest, but 3 by 3 certainly isn't going to help that, as that's what they're doing in the second pack. And meanwhile, up front, 2 by 2, and then you get to the 3 wide action with the 22 of Omar Diallo. Last time we saw him out here in the Gen 6 series, boy, he was very aggressive, and it paid off in a big way. I believe he actually, I forgot if it was one of the stage wins. Actually, I think he got both stage wins in one of the races we did the stages on. So he'll be looking to see if he can steal that halfway $100 reward here tonight. That is, again, something a little different than what we see in the regular season races, if you will. So should be a fun extra bonus here tonight as Garrett Maines on the point up top, leading Kevin Freeze. And now it looks like Kyler Wynn's going to look for another lane here towards the middle. Omar Diallo will follow, as does the 42 of Andrew Navarro, and that 3-car tandem is rolling. They're going to get by Garrett Maines as they get ready to cross the stripe to take lap number 4.
Big move on the bottom side there by the 3 people working together. Kyler Wynn, Omar, Andrew also not necessarily working with them in the same Discord, but they'll stay on the same page all night together. Andrew just going to try and use all the great people to get himself up front because he's one of those really good drivers who drives by himself, but 3 wide behind the top 5 here on the top side.
The 3 wide action continues still through that second pack, but that's Malik Ray right now doing a lot of pushing on the bottom to the 45 of Michael Guest, who makes his return here tonight. And look at this, you're going to get a Coke Series trio as Garrett Maines will drop down to the bottom, and that gives Kyler Wynn some more clean air up top as Kevin Freeze will make another move. This time it's the 14 machine that'll jump out with him. 3 wide is now Navarro's in the sucker hole momentarily. He's going to get some help, though, here. It looks like from the 78, if he can get there in time. It looks like he will, but I'm looking back at his second pack, Baker. They're being led by Michael Triscaro, series owner, and it looks like he's been able to get everybody kind of lined up here. They just realized that they needed to drop to the bottom, so if they can get reorganized again here pretty quickly, I think they've still got a chance to track these guys down.
Kyler Wynn throwing massive blocks left and right here. It's not going to work out once it comes towards the end of this race. Garrett's really been checking up for him. But Malik Ray, want to highlight him. Great job by him on Tuesday night last night, Wednesday, getting the ERA win, taking $4,000 home. Unbelievable racing by him there at Iowa. Garrett Maines got second $500 to him.
Yeah, no surprise to see some of the best stars. Oh, man. Malik Ray almost just saw his night come to an end early. You talked about big blocks, and we just saw another one right there as Garrett had to bail out of the throttle and still made some contact. I mean, there's no faster pair here tonight, so I'm surprised to see these guys this aggressive this early, but that's what this car entails. And I know you mentioned it, Baker, that that's part of the reason that you wanted it for the SummerSlam 499 because of the aggression that it provides. But just seeing it here tonight, these guys showing that you got to be kind of on the horse, on the saddle, if you will, every single lap. There's really no laying back. And if you lay back, you're going to get eaten up pretty quick, go to the back of the group. You'll have to try to regain and get to the front. But, I mean, so far, the amount of lead changes we've had, we don't have an official counter, but it's already been a couple of handfuls here in just 6 laps. And you're starting to see a couple new players make their way up into the mix now. And 2 of them that I'm keeping my eye on right here is the 48 of John Mullihan, who's already up 8 positions from where he started. And one of the newer guys to the series, Baker, and it's Landon Valecki. We've seen him kind of burst onto the money racing scene as of recent. And, you know, you've officially kind of made your money racing debut once you've done a PGR race. And he's learning a lot here in a hurry, but so far doing a good job. He looks pretty comfortable up here with the lead group.
Yeah, looks comfortable here. You saw Malik Ray dive down to that middle line. Michael Guess was going to go with him. They may be wrecking towards the backstretch. I got a call. Doesn't look like they are. Everyone else single filed out, just probably giving huge 4Xs in the back, trying to catch up to him. The big 3-wide action here as you see Kevin Free's going to get clear of that middle lane. So is Kyler Wynn. He's going to pull up. Kevin Free's going to do the same thing. Oh, Kyler Wynn pushes him out of line to the top side.
Now, one thing that we keep seeing with these two is, you know, we bring up the sucker hole, usually that one car that'll get split 3 wide and goes to the back. I don't know if it's just money racing in general or specifically this series, but every time that we've seen someone get split out, they don't go to the back because there's been 3 lanes of action, and you really don't want to split someone 4 wide because in these cars, if you get linked up with someone, it is incredible the kind of runs you can get. As you saw with Kevin Freeze, I mean, that single bump he gave Kyler Wynn, look at the surge that he got out in front, as now Kevin will pull back even here. But the 2, Malik Ray leading the middle and Omar Diallo on the bottom. Watch for those 2 to continue to creep up here until they get alongside the 84, unless he decides to block. Oh, Diallo, big moment as he jumps out, down on the apron he goes. He's going to save it here. Looks like Navarro lets him back up. The rest of the inside line is going to check up. Nicely done by everybody staying conservative early. And I think now maybe they all started to remember that they don't have a faster pair here tonight.
There's been a lot of big moments up front. You saw Kyler Wynn going into the corner. Got kind of squirrely, and then Omar, the same thing, got a little squirrely there from Andrew Navarro. Just that side draft, you'll see it. That middle line will pull that top line up. It'll pull that very top car up the track, and then that person towards that second car in line on the bottom just has a tough time giving a square push and usually turns them down.
And exactly right there's the slight contact from Andrew Navarro. Still surprised to see it get him that much out of shape, because I was watching these guys practice, and even as they're wrecking, you see Garrett Maines kind of doing the same thing there on the back bumper of Malik Ray. And I think it's just, you know, these cars can take those kind of pushes even if they're a little offset, but just the right conditions at the right moment. And that's, as you just mentioned, Baker, it's certainly possible to get out of shape. But the 2 of the 2 of Malik Ray leading in the middle. Used to seeing that scheme on Devin Ray, but Malik's got it out front here as Garrett Maines runs in second. And John Ellis Jr., I believe this is his first time racing in the Gen 6 cars over here at PGR, and he's been looking a couple times to take the lead, but he's been doing a lot of pushing so far. As Kyler Wynn will get a push of his own there from Kevin Freeze. Omar's going to split the 14. Nobody goes with him, at least not yet. Now the 43 is going to jump up. That caused some congestion. That puts them right back to 3 wide as they go into 3.
Yeah, you saw Ellis go up the track, and then Omar wanted to go up, grab the side draft, and then couldn't get up there for that side draft. Omar giving a big push here to Garrett Maines on that middle line. But, yeah, Ellis ran at Daytona 2 weeks ago in the Gen 6. Didn't have any luck there, but definitely one of the contenders out here. One of the most winning drivers in PGR history with running such short races. I think he has 4 wins, and he's, you know, ran probably half the race that these guys have. Oh! Malik Ray, just a tad out of shape there, Kyler Wynn. I keep reacting to these. It's just going to be normal all night long here with this Gen 6 car, but we have great 2x2 and 3 wide racing all the way throughout this field.
We certainly do. And just to touch another point on John Ellis Jr. is, you know, we saw, or I guess I should say, I kind of got to experience coming back and hadn't raced for a little while. Got to do a couple here, some of the bigger money races, Jimmy Crow, and then, of course, the team draft event on Monday. And, you know, coming back, even after a short break that I feel like I took, it's so competitive. And these guys all have so much talent that it's just hard to kind of compete if you haven't been in the game. But John Ellis Jr. comes back after longer than just a month, and you'd think he never skipped a beat. He's out here still competing with the best of the best and running at the top. So far, so good for that 14 car. And he'll try to continue his run here tonight. And looking now is, I'm not sure if this group right here, Baker, was a group that broke off from the leaders or broke off from the second group, but it looks like, yeah, because that's J.R. Miller leading. I think this is a group that broke off from the leaders and has now fallen back. So we continue to see here early on, even though we've had a lot of green, what that's allowing is the packs to get separated. In fact, only 15 cars right now in the lead pack as we ride on board here with J.R. Miller. So if we go back a couple spots here, we'll go to Richard Elliott for just a moment. And he's pushing, doing everything he can right here for J.R. Miller. It's just not enough right now. So I think these guys are probably going to need a caution. They certainly might get one with the amount of racing we saw up front. But we'll go back to that second group in just a moment as there's all the driver cams we've got here tonight. So we'll talk more about them. But tell you what, Baker, what do you think here? I think you got to stay aggressive because it seems like if you get caught sleeping at all and you lose the draft, it's just too hard to get it back.
Man, it's really, really unfortunate for some of very, very big hitters. Logan York back there, Cody Nagels, Matt Lee, John Ward. They started fighting, side drafting each other, and it's really pulled them towards the back. And you're looking towards the back, a couple big stack ups all the way towards the back in turns 4. They're going to hold on to it.
So as they hold on, we cross the stripe. 14 of 60 laps now complete. As you look on to some more of our driver cams here tonight, we've got some new people on the driver cams that we're not used to seeing, and that was Zach Range there with the 3 camera views that he shows us, the pedal cams, the regular cam, and then of course the wide view. But Kyler Wynn does continue to lead with a push from Malik Ray, and as these guys have formed up 2 by 2, let's go back to that second big pack, not the group that's on island by themselves, but the one being led by Michael Triscaro. And he's trying to maybe break away and create potentially a third pack here as they get to battle. And further back, that Zach Range on the outside. Looks like of the 17, Matt Johnson. And he's hoping to take a spot. Matt Lee stuck back here as well. So there's still a lot of big names that are not at the front. And if we don't get a caution, we could potentially see a new winner here tonight. And I'm looking at some of the names up front that would be another huge underdog victory. You look at potentially Joe Herta for KSR. What could he do if he gets the win here tonight? Landon Valecki. I don't think John Mullahan would be an underdog pick, but would certainly be one with, no teammates up here that would be an impressive one in of itself. But still, green flag pit stop to go, Baker, on that 50% fuel. How far can these guys go?
It's coming up. It's coming up in a few laps. I think about maybe 3 or 4 laps. Jeff Merck did move down to the bottom side. You can see these guys try and pull these side draft here. But that second pack starting to catch him. That's a pusher from Logan York to Michael Triscaro with Cody Nagels. Sounds like Mike has 2 laps to go on fuel. They are there.
They are there. Wow, didn't even notice that. Just as it seemed like the gap had been actually extending, it closed up. And I wonder if that was indeed kind of a byproduct of that group that was on an island by themselves, maybe acting as a bridge between the 2 packs. And now that Michael Triscaro's up there, I mean, Baker, that's perfect timing because you just said pit stop's coming up. He needed to get there now, and now that they're back with this lead draft, they're going to have a chance to stay single file, suck right back up, and they'll be ready for this first round of green flag stops. Malik Ray is going to lead that final top line to the bottom as now it seems like everybody is single file. We'll see if we get any takers this time right here.
I think you're going to see some probably split strategy here. I think John Ward's probably going to come down. No, he stays out. I think it's going to be a busy pit road next time by.
I would have to agree. Looks like there's one coming out of the pits. Not sure who exactly that was or if that was...
Like Mark Math. He fell off the pace there.
Exactly, and yeah, it looks like Mark Math here, he lost a lap from that at least. So tough break for Mark Math. Got to assume that was an unscheduled pit stop. As back up front we go, still single file, again waiting for that first green flag pit stop. If you're just tuning in, well, what a great race it's been so far, green all the way, but that doesn't mean we've been any short of 2 wide, 3 wide action, a couple of close calls. But when it's all single filed out, no surprise to see the names in the front runners. You got 2 Coke Series drivers in the top 5, 3 in the top 10. Here we go, pit stops. First round of the night. Can everybody get in clean here? Oh, it's a lot, and some of these guys were getting in really hot, but big lockups from the front row, second and third row. Oh, we got one out back, almost spins, but Baker, I think they all somehow got in clean.
Mostly everyone got in clean. The thing is this big, huge single file line here.
Oh, one spinning. That's Zach Range. Sorry to cut you off there. That was Range in the pits. Spun out there. I'm not sure what happened. He looked like he was fine. I didn't see contact. But the 99 did go around, so that's going to cost him a lot of time. Was there? Oh, no, he must have got some help here, I'm thinking now. Let's see. Watch Zach Range, the blue and black 99, as he just spins it all by himself there, Baker. I'm not really sure what happened there, if he downshifted or just tried to turn too soon. I don't know, but nonetheless, as he works his way out, so does the rest of the field. And will we see that final group pit that did not come in, which is just Richard Elliott and Ron Morris Jr.? Yes, we will, as Ron Morris Jr. is going to lock him up as he comes in a little hot. Oh, Richard Elliott with problems too.
Holy
Wow.
crap, there are so many people speeding. Garrett, Maines, Kyler Wynn, Omar, Sean, John Ellis, Michael Guest. Holy cow.
And that is a tough mistake to make on the first round of stops. And now, if you're any of those drivers, you have to hope for a caution here. If you don't get one, your race could be over here. But still a lot of laps, and some of those names that you named off there, Baker, those are guys that know how to get the job done. And I'm sure they're thinking about ways that they can, get together and try to slowly start chipping at that gap. But it's going to be a very big gap that is. Jacob Emery here in the 23. Not sure what's going on, but he's a little slow on the apron. I think he's going to bring it back down to the pits. Of course, Jacob Emery, fellow broadcaster. We've seen him up here helping commentate PGR before, along with multiple other series, but he's in the car tonight. And I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like going to be a pit stop just behind him as well. I mean, man, this has completely turned the field on its head here, Baker. We have got all sorts of chaos. The track map right now doesn't look like Talladega, but looks more like what you would see at Bristol or Martinsville.
Yeah, definitely. I'm having to go into the sky cam here and look at little ants running around the entire track to look for these wrecks now. There's just so many cars all spread out. Huge names that sped on pit road.
And right now, let's start breaking down these packs here, because we've got some separation here in quite a few groups. So your front four, as it stands right now, Jeff Merck, how about that? Takes the lead here at Talladega. And in fact, we'll pause here on Jeff for just a moment, as he is one of our drivers carrying it on board for us here tonight. You see Jeff focusing in, as right now it's not necessarily the easiest thing to be a leader at Talladega in general, but especially in these cars where it's not necessarily slight bumps on the straight, but rather getting pushed even through the corners. But you got to make sure that you're holding on to that car the entire time. But he does continue to lead, doing a great job at it. And then it's Malik Ray, Coke Series driver, who sits just behind him right now. And second, Andrew Navarro, the Road to Pro driver, Contender Series. And he sits in that third spot right now, just behind him. And rounding out the lead group, how about this, Baker? Landon Valecki. We already talked about what a great run he had going early, but to be with the top three on that first pit stop, what a job by Landon. And then the second group right now being led by Kevin Freeze, followed by Cody Nagels and John Mullahan. And they're trying to catch the leaders. Let's see what the gap is. Right now it's 2.67 seconds. It's been hanging close, but it's not closing as quick as they would like here. And then behind them is J.R. Miller, Devin Ray, Joe Herta, Jason Maines, took Ron Morris Jr., and they are catching that second pack. And then going on back to the third group, you've got Mike Davenport, Matt Lee, Christopher McCullough, Jeremy Osborne, Zach Range, Dylan Jones, Richard Elliott, and a whole plethora of other drivers in other packs behind that. So at this point, if we don't get a caution, we're still expecting one more pit stop at least, Baker. Do you think they can make it in just one more, or do you still have to do two?
I still think you have to do two more. I think it's going to be a pit stop around when the stage is going to come out. Funny enough, well, not the stage caution. There won't be a stage caution. But when that halfway leader happens, I think you're going to see pit stops pretty much immediately after that. And then it's another pit stop, probably about 45 or 46.
Well, the good news is if you're in one of these top four here, assuming that you stay single file here until we get to the end, you've got, what is that, a 1 in 4 chance of winning yourself an extra $100. And, as much as Malik Ray likes the job Jeff Merck's doing leading right now and feels like they're a good duo pushing, I don't know that Malik's necessarily just going to sit in line coming to the stripe with $100 on the line. He won $4,000 last night. He feels like he's got a hot hand. And you look back to Andrew Navarro, he's one of the drivers that you've heard it from other guys. He'll let you know he's always about making the smart moves. Doesn't make risky moves, doesn't make dumb moves, makes the smart moves. So if he sees Malik jumped out, feels like that's his best chance going forward, he'll probably go with him. If he feels like maybe he can steal it for himself, he'll try to do it. And then the 62 of Landon Valecki, he's the wild card. What does he do, Baker? I mean, he's up here trying to make some friends here. He's not really on a team. He's got the one-stop shop logo, but looking for some friends. If you were Landon Valecki, what are you going to do here at the end of the stage?
I think you try and go for however much money you can get. You can try and get there to get to the stage. I I don't know. This guy's really impressing me. I'd like to see who he works well with, but he's a wild card. He'll work well with Jeff Merck for sure.
And you just saw Garrett Maines and John Ellis Jr. get lapped. Now, I wonder how aggressive those two will be to try to get their lap back. As you see, they are going to be able to hang on. And I wonder if they were going to be enough of a bridge to grab any of these other cars here, including Kevin Freeze, Cody Nagels, or John Mullihan. But it doesn't look like they are, as they have now fallen to 4 seconds back. So with what's going to be just 6 laps to go as they go by the 0-1, I think that it's safe to say that this group right here is not going to have to worry about getting caught from anybody behind them. It'll just be how many lappers they pick up before they get to lap 30, and I believe it is 30 coming to 31, right?
It'll be 30 coming to 31. All
right, there you go. So keep it in your head right now. If you're waiting to try to figure out who's going to win this race, what the strategy is going to be, put that on hold, because again, $100 to whoever is leading as we cross the line to take lap 31. So right now, as they run through your top 5, and then we'll go through your top 10 actually, but it's Jeff Merck, followed by Malik Ray, Andrew Navarro, Landon Valecki, and then back starting the second pack and rounding extra top 5 is Kevin Freeze, followed by Cody Nagels, John Mullihan, and then pack number 3, which is cop pack number 2, J.R. Miller, Joe Herta, and Jason Maines, rounding out your top 10. Biggest mover, though, inside the top 10 is indeed Malik Ray right now. He's up 20 positions from where he started, and Jeff Merck is in a close second for the hard charger as he is up 16 positions from where he started this race at. And so while nobody makes a move just yet, again, it's like a game of chess at about 200 miles an hour as everybody's just trying to be calm. But I'll tell you what, Baker, I'm really pleased with what we're seeing up here right now in the booth, just for the fact of, I mean, when was the last time that we saw a run this long in the Gen 6 cars?
Well, you just jinxed it there, so I'm sure we're going to get to caution soon, but we've never had a run this long. It's been a lot of fun, intense racing, and we've had intense racing tonight, and now we're single-filed out. Every pack is separated, trying to get around here and get to this halfway point. They're barking in the ears of the 4 guys, said, go for that $100, get up there, battle for it hard. And those guys probably not having anything of it because they know they can secure first or fourth here.
Absolutely, but you know, it kind of has that feel to what we would see in a typical, even a real life race where things start out aggressive, everybody getting a feel for their car, trying to get track position, but then as you start to get into the middle portions and maybe even slightly latter stages of the race, things single file out, calm down a little bit as strategy starts to come into play, and then you know things will heat up whenever you start to get to the end of either a stage or end of the race. And as now we are going to be coming to 3 laps to go in the stage when we cross the line next time, or rather this time here, as they still continue to run in the same exact order, at least through your top 4, with Jeff Merck leading, Malik Ray in second, Andrew Navarro third, and then of course the big surprise, the rookie and the underdog pick who's making it happen right now, Landon Valecki. Tell you what, Baker, I think these 3 lappers are going to have something to say about who potentially wins this stage right here. Again, we won't get a caution, but I think that you're going to see potentially John Ellis Jr., Garrett Maines, and is the 0-1, I think that's Logan York. Yes, it is, because they're, of course, battling for the lucky dog here, but also they might be able to help one of those guys secure the win. And the question is, who do they want to work with? I think maybe if Garrett jumps out, look to see Navarro and Malik try to make the move on Merck, and it's just a matter of, can Merck find a way to get a block down in time, or does he just let him have it?
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of attrition, but you're going to see Malik going to go up to the wall here off of 4. They're all going to go up there, migrate, try and defend up top. You're going to have Malik pushing Jeff Merck there on the outside, only 3 cars towards that bottom side, so the 4 leaders going to go up to that top side. But they're trying, almost catching Omar, and then they're not going to get through them in time as we come to 2 to go here.
I was going to say, they're going up top, but it looks like the lappers are saying, no, we'll go ahead and stay down here, and they're going to try to get at least 1, if not 2 of them, their lap back the hard way here as John Ellis Jr. is pushing Garrett Maines, and then Logan York. Oh, look at this. The 62 is going to drop low. This is an interesting call here. Landon Valecki, the first one to duck out of line here for the top 4 that's trying to make something happen, but don't know if that was the right call here. It's now Logan York. Oh, no. York and Valecki almost tangle there. Did Valecki save it? He does. He's got to make sure he hangs onto the draft right here. Logan York, for some reason, being a little indecisive there. Landon's not going to like that too much.
No, he's not. Looks like he's going to hang on to the draft, so as they come here to the white flag, it will be next time by coming to the halfway point. Who's going to get that $100 crossing the line?
And now you see Logan York jumps up. That leaves John Ellis Jr. on the bottom by himself. Garrett Maines, remember, he is not fourth position. He's a lap down. Jeff Merck, that second car in line, the gold and blue, that's the one to keep an eye on right now. He is the leader, and if he's leading, oh, here we go. Malik Ray is going to make the move. Navarro's going to follow. Does he look for a side draft? No, he doesn't, as we got one off here. That's the 7. I believe that's Jimmy Emo's huge hit into the inside wall. Actually, that was Josh Giambrone. We'll look at that after the stage right here, but now they're going after it. John Ellis Jr. to the bottom of the racetrack. Logan York's going to follow. Maines is going to drop back to the middle to try to help Navarro. Up top, Jeff Merck all by himself. Malik Ray is going to try to get lined back up. Don't know if there's enough time, and look at this. Guess who? Landon Valecki is out in front. A trial to go. Does Navarro have enough of a run? He doesn't. How about this, Baker, in his first PGR start? Landon Valecki wins the $100 bonus for the halfway lead. There you go. I said halfway lead. I should have said the halfway lead. Point is, he was the driver that led at the halfway point. So there you go. Landon Valecki gets himself an extra $100, and now he is racing for house money. Icing on the cake with whatever he gets at this point, as now you see Merck and Maines with a run, but just a lap too late. Now let's go back and see if we can look at this accident involving Josh Gambro. Again, that was a huge hit for the 7. Thought it was initially Jimmy Emos, but it was not here. And ooh, the 52 up top. I wonder if that was Jesse Calloway. As before him, though, we had one get into the wall. I think that was, yeah, that's Mark Math in the 199 right here. And if we go to the blimp cam, Math just, is he just getting tight here? That's my guess. And you see he hits that outside wall, bounces off, comes down. And then once Jesse Calloway hits his rear bumper, that just turns the 52 dead left into the 7. Looks like that might have damaged the suspension as well on Calloway. And then the 7 here takes a slide into the inside safer barrier with nowhere to go, and there's only one car off the racing surface, so that's why it didn't bring us under caution. But again, that's going to probably end Gambrone's night, as there is no fast repairs, and he was doing a good job keeping the car clean, running smooth, and then it's a hard hit. So we looked at the onboard view right there, and I want to take one more angle of this here rather and see if we can look this from TV1 here, more of a straight-on angle. Is I just don't know what's going on with Mark Matt there. We'll see if Baker has some more insight when he comes back, but just looks like he's getting a little tight. And then Calloway, wrong place at the wrong time. And then Calloway actually kind of gets saved here a little bit by hitting the 7, but the problem is, like I said, it breaks his left front suspension, and then the 7 just gets destroyed. And then as a result of all this, Jesse Calloway here, you see he's trying to limp it to the pits. That car not turning very well. He goes straight into the grass as he's just trying to figure out a way to get this thing off the racetrack, and it's
We're going to
just
see
not
some
working.
pit stops here soon.
So we'll go back live now as Baker. By the way, real quick before we get to that, did you get anything on what happened there with Mark Matt that led to that wreck? Did he just get a little tight?
Yeah, it looks like he just got a little tight. 2 cars, no caution. Just trying to get this race green. I'm loving it, you know, so we're just going to try to follow the rule book as much as we can here and see how long these guys can go. You're going to see Jeff Merck coming this time.
All right, so if Jeff Merck comes this time, you're going to wonder if that brings the other 3 in this time, and do they all stick together again? Now, looking at that group that was the second pack for a while, these guys got racy up front, and they trimmed it down a little bit, Baker. They got it down to almost 3 seconds. So with a good pit stop here from Freeze, Nagels, and Mullahan, they might be able to get merged back up with this front group. Let's see if they pit this time. Sure enough, they will. So it looks like Jeff Merck will lead them in. There's the 62 of Landon Valecki, and actually Malik Ray and the 14 of John Ellis Jr., they stayed out. And Navarro, I don't know what happened to Navarro unless he already came in, but must have already came in. But there you see further back, Kevin Freeze, Cody Nagels, and John Mullahan going to try to match the strategy as they do indeed bring it to the pits this time. A couple other followers behind them, J.R. Miller, and there's Andrew Navarro. So I wonder what happened to him.
I think he got turned by Logan York.
Yikes. And Logan York, he wasn't up there for a position now, was he? Well, nonetheless, Navarro not going to be too happy about it, I'm sure. But those guys were going for it as Omar Diallo showing some trouble here. Sarah Clamford, a couple others. Ooh, it's the pit stop. Trouble for the 22 as he's in the grass. Oh, now he's going to hit the back of the 42. Oh, man, somebody just came to a halt right there. That was Cameron Rourke, and now he's going for... What in the world is going on? His 42's finally just getting a tow it. Struggling a little bit there to get it sorted out as That caused all sorts of chaos, but it was actually Omar Diallo and Sierra Clampert who had trouble getting onto the pits that initially started that whole sequence. And we'll back it up and show you this here from TV3. Diallo's just getting in too hot, Baker. He blows the entry, gets loose, and then Sierra Clampert, same deal, locks up, gets into the grass. No harm, no foul, but certainly shown here tonight that the defining kind of, I guess, characteristic of what separated the front runners from people who are still trying to get there is really pit stops. And Malik Ray is the last man to pit, and he comes out with a group of guys that are not for position, but it looks like it's going to work out pretty well when they all merge back out.
Yeah, this is just absolute chaos all over the track. There are so many single cars that I just feel a big wreck coming at some point when it comes to merging onto the track. The draft in the track, it's just very, very spread out right now.
And I'm looking back, and I think now that Cody Nagels, who is leading John Mullihan, Kevin Freeze, I think they're going to be able to get there now. Looks like there's enough cars potentially in between. Well, they need this one car to drop down for a little extra draft. He's not going to do it. And they're still 2.5 seconds back, so they still need to trim off about a second of that deficit to be within drafting range and then ultimately be able to catch up. So still got some work to do, but Nagels right now, and that's actually on Malik, so they're closer to the back of that lead pack than 2.5 seconds. But, I mean, this is, as it stands, you can say right now that the lead pack is one car, and you just never hear that at a track like Talladega, but Malik Ray is loving it. If it stays like this, it's going to be some of the easiest money he's ever made, but there's still 24 laps to go, and Baker, you talked about it. It seems like whenever we start to get spread out like this, the longer we go without a caution, the greater the chance becomes we're going to get one. But so far, things continue to stay clean, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Malik Ray leads us here at Talladega.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Three by three.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, and there you see again all the driver cams that we have on board here tonight. Thank you all so much. To everybody that participates each and every week means a lot. And we have so many different angles of not only, of course, with the virtual cameras, but of course the real-life cockpit as well. Before we get up front, I do want to stop on a couple of the driver camps that we have in here tonight, and one of them is Francisco Villarreal, who we've seen a couple times on the Money Racing scene. Good to see him here tonight. Maybe not quite the way, of course, he wanted his night to go, but nonetheless, there's the onboard view for the 23 car as he currently sits in the 38th position and is not running on the lead lap. So driver that's going to need a caution. But Baker, we were talking about this over break. Driver that doesn't want a caution, and that's pretty obvious. It's Malik Reyes. Right now, I don't know why the tower's got him scored in pits, but you see he's out on track, and he is leading by a good margin at that. Now, we're keeping a close eye on this group being led by Nagels because they're right there in terms of being within drafting range, and they've got a couple bridge cars now, so I think they'll get there here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, looks like that they're closing on the backstretch, staying at about 2 seconds. But this 2 stragglers behind Malik Ray and Omar here is really going to help them out. The problem with that second pack catching that first pack is Malik Ray is tucked up with Garrett Maines and John Ellis Jr., and they are going to do everything they can to stay on that lead lap, so that means pushing him forward. But these guys are catching him. I mean, they are gaining ground here through the trial.
They certainly are. Now 18 laps to go, and Baker, you said earlier that, you know, after that first stop we had, it was going to be 2 more. We've seen 1 more since. Now we need at least 1 more. Window, I would say, opens to be safe here, and probably about 3 or 4 more laps. But when do you actually think about making that pit stop?
You know, if I'm this second pack, I'd probably run it out. I go further than Malik. I try and push the pace to close that gap in and try and pit to where I know I'm going to come out with him, because you know Garrett, Ellis, and Omar are going to pit with him as well to try and keep Malik up there.
Absolutely. Now, I was looking at something here. Thought I saw on Jeff Merck's onboard. Now, remember, he's got a really nice sim. The seat moves around and stuff, but thought for a minute I saw on his onboard that he had actually had an incident, but it doesn't look like he did. So I think that was just maybe Jeff getting a push or something. Now, we have had a couple other people with some trouble here. And so let's go through some of those real quick, as this was on pit exits that we forgot to show. Sean Corbett through the grass, and that has a near spin as he gets in the grass again. But he's able to drive back on track with no further incident there. Brandon Broadfoot, going to be a similar issue, as good to see Brandon back on track, and actually really similar looking incident as he tried to hit the transition. And then Sean Corbett, this was going to be, looks like, I don't think this is the same lap. No, this is a different one, but he's just going to bring it down here by the end of the back stretch and just parks it. So not sure if he had a technical issue or something that he had to go deal with in real life, but nonetheless, 16 laps to go. Malik Ray still up front. Cody Nagels, that gap has re-extended. Not sure if Mullihan just got hot or if as good of a pusher as they've got up front, as you talked about with Malik not wanting to make a move, but rather just staying sucked up to Garrett Maines and John Ellis Jr. But the front group continues to fly, and it is working out well right now. Now, this last pit stop, it could be the definer. I mean, if you're Malik Ray, you have got to be telling yourself, do not speed. Take it slow. There's no need to rush. You've got plenty of a lead on everybody else, but you cannot speed. If he speeds here, that's going to change things up completely for everybody else. But you know what? It's a top 5 payout, Baker. It's not just first, so they're still going to be fighting all the way second through that 5th position, which right now is being held on to by Jason Maines back at that 5th spot, and he is leading a pretty big group. So still a lot of things to play out, but we're starting to get to the wind down portion of this race, and with just 14 laps to go when they cross the stripe this next time. I know I think I asked you, Baker, but I actually forgot here as I was looking at something else. When again do you think these guys are going to make that final stop?
It's going to be coming soon. I think it's going to be in the next 2 or 3 laps, but they're trying to swap for temps here in the second pack, and that's just not helping. They need to maintain their space, and you're going to see Cody Nagels go up to the high side. They're going to lose another 3 tenths here. With that, you're going to see separation of Kevin from Mullihan. But if Cody can tuck up to him, Kevin can back up to him. Now they're going to have 3 cars that hopefully have pressing temps. Mullihan, he was doing everything he could there, pushing as hard as he could, doing a great job, but just not enough to catch these guys up front.
And sometimes that's just the way it is. And again, this is still, you know, as good as these guys and as easy as they make it look, this is still a relatively new car for what we're running here over at PGR. Used to running, of course, the trucks and the Xfinity cars. So everybody's still getting used to a couple little, let's say, kinks in it. And one of the big ones would be the fact that we have never had, again, a green flag run that's been this long in this car with this many pit stops. So it's just, again, you make that one mistake, something to learn from it and have ready for the next race. But it has certainly worked out in favor of Malik Ray here tonight. Again, you said it earlier, Baker, but he won $4 grand just the other night. He's looking to take home a lot more here tonight. As we get ready for this last pit stop, let's go through the rest of the field and see how everybody's looking. As we've had a couple cars that have had to retire from the race, as Josh Gambrone sits on the pit still with the damage he's got. And then Cameron Rourke has retired as well. Sean Corbett. John Ward is the last car right now out on track as he sits in 44th. There's Mark Vondell in 43rd. Jacob Emery, 42nd. Tyler Butler, another driver. Not sure if it's his debut, but certainly one of the newer guys to the series. He's having an okay night for if it is his first start here tonight. Down 9 from where he started, but gets some experience and has kept the car clean. It's the biggest thing. Logan York, after turning and answering a fall on accident earlier, was hoping for a caution, maybe have a chance to get his lap back. He sits in 40th right now. Francisco Villarreal, 39th. Jared Haynes, he sits in 38th. Tucker McClendon, 37th. Christopher McCullough in 36th.
Man, sorry to cut you off. There's a lot of separation happening up towards that front pack. They just went too wide. They're going to gain here, I think.
Oh, Malik's blinking. That's what's happening. Oh,
big time for sure.
Looks like okay, there we go for a minute. I thought he blinked out. Yeah, that car's struggling big time, Baker. This is a big issue here for Malik Ray. If he blinks out right now, he's going to be in trouble, and they're trying to figure it out. They're losing all sorts of time here. They got to get it sorted out quickly here. As Omar Diallo's sticking with them for now. Did the two's internet connection finally settle back down here? Looks like it finally did, and boy, that was a scare for not only everybody in the pack, but Malik. He was thinking, not right now. They have now got to within 1.9 seconds of being up to your leaders, and
I mean, they're there now. They're there.
Yeah, they're there. For a minute, I just had a brief internet spike of my own. I'm hoping it's going to settle down here. Apologize for that. It looks like we're back up and running now. So single file they go. 11 to go. Still got to make that final stop. If you're Malik at this point, Baker, does this change the strategy of when you decide to pit now that that group is going to get there?
I think now you just come whenever Malik comes. For this pit stop here, they got to be coming close on the pit stops for sure.
Certainly, and you wonder what does, Garrett Maines, John Ellis Jr., and a couple of these other lappers that are up here, what do they do? I think they have to follow, because remember, they're trying to stay either in front of the leader or the first car behind the leader to, of course, get that lucky dog. So, if we were to get a caution right now, Maines and John Ellis Jr., they're good to go, and then Omar Diallo would get that free pass position. Dylan Jones, he's going to be racing fourth, though, as well. 10 laps to go now. It continues to get closer and closer, and Kevin Freese and Mullihan, well, Baker, we thought they were guaranteed there. They may not be. They need to be careful here, because now they're starting to slip a little bit again. Usually, when you get within 1.5 seconds, that means you're guaranteed good to go, but they're fading here again.
I'm here to pit this time. I'm here to pit this time.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, and we'll see if that's just for the leader or for both groups. I think you should go if you're in either group, but we're getting ready to find out. Here we go, off of turn number 4. And Malik Ray not going to pit, so I wonder if that was a fake call. But that second, those three or four second group, they are going to pit. As big lockup from John Mullihan. Oh, they better hope he didn't speed. Another driver who did everything right all night, and now, oh man, that's going to cost him. Let's see here if he gets a speeding penalty. This should be just fuel only for everybody. Just topping off with enough to make it to the end. And I don't see anything happening. Oh, nope, looks like Mullihan, he's good to go. I thought for a minute he got a speeding penalty as Nagels took tires. And there goes Lee, a couple others. We're going to rip out of the pits. Kevin Freese. And so now we'll see, does Malik Ray bring it down to the pits this time as he's getting ready to work his way off of turn 4? And does everybody else go down as well? Looks like Malik's going to peel off. And yep, sure enough, they'll all go ahead and go as Garrett and John Ellis Jr. are hard on the brakes. Ooh, John Ellis Jr. gets into the grass a little bit, but I think, the 37 of Jones. Almost some trouble for him as well. And Malik Ray is going to get into his box here. Gets in clean with no issues, and now it's all going to come down to a question of how do they merge out, how do things shape up, and what will end up being your lead pack, and then ultimately your top 5, as those are the positions that pay. So here we go. Watch Malik Ray here as he works his way out of the pits. We'll go to the pit lane cam here. Freeze it there for just a moment. I was trying to see if we had a better angle here. It doesn't really look like we do, but if we go to the turn 1 entry, there you see Malik trying to get back up to speed, and there's that group that already pit as they are just now crossing the start-finish line. It's only 3 of them as they did drop off one car, and it looks like it's the 5 at Kevin Freese. Yes, it is, who had maybe some issues there. Not sure if he had a penalty or just trouble getting off and lost the draft. But as they merge back on here, how close are they going to be?
Oh, they're going to get there.
Certainly looks like they're going to get there. 2 seconds closing fast, under a second and a half. Yes, they are. So that's how it all merges back out. The second group kept fighting, and it looks like it's going to pay off here, but they got to continue to, I just don't think it's safe, Baker, until you are physically probably within 2 car lengths of that draft, or the car at the back of the draft, and they just need to get within that area where they're going to get a big enough pull to close.
Oh,
and
they're there.
They're there, yeah. Look at the speed. 201 here, and that's through the travel. Watch the speed go up here as they climb closer to turn number 1. 203, 204, 6, 206, almost 207. Getting down into turn number 1, and then there you go. He's got to run. What's he going to do with it? Here we go. John Mullahan to the outside. Matt Lee looks to follow. Now he's going to drop back in as Cody Nagels is going to ditch John Mullahan, and that feels a little unfair for how good they all work together up to this point.
Right there.
Yes, it is. And, you know, Cody says, hey, I got no problem pushing us all back up there, but 7 to go. It's go time. Money's on the line, and he's ready to start going to the front. Good news for these guys is they're not worried right now about Garrett Maines, Omar Diallo, or Dylan Jones because they're all guaranteed money as it stands. Your top 4 are all within this lead pack, and then Kevin Freeze actually, or excuse me, your top 3 are in this lead pack, and then Kevin Freeze, who sits in 4th. You see him right there. Now, Matt Lee, by the way, that's not a guy who's on the lead lap. So he's just going to be trying to help Cody, I would have to believe. But looks like Kevin Freeze is going to lose a spot here to Navarro. And then Joe Herta, who's the 6th place running car, is even further back. So as it stands, I think the top 5 are all pretty secure. Question is just going to be how do they sort it out here amongst the top 3. And with just 6 laps to go, it starts to really feel like the calm before the storm. Now, before we get to these final couple laps, gives us just a brief moment to head over and talk just a moment about the biggest event coming up for PGR and one of the bigger events for the iRacing money racing community over the summer, and that is the PGR first annual Summer Slam 499. And boy, that is going to be an exciting event, Baker. We've heard a lot about it. The anticipation will continue to build up as we know the flyers and stuff will be coming out here in just, maybe the coming days or the coming week, but 499 miles, going to be the second biggest event of PGR for the year. And then you look at the prizes on the line, of course, going to be a ton of money on the line. And on top of that, as for the trophies that will be given out, a SummerSlam PGR custom belt. Looking forward to that and everything else. Can't wait for it. How you feeling about that one?
Sorry, I didn't catch you. You were watching these people coming out of turn 3 and 4. It's starting to really spice up here towards the lead. A lot of lap cars in between 3 leaders here. If I'm Cody, Malik, and Mullahan, I'm talking to each other and I'm right in line to the last lap. I'll be honest. I'm not going to try and risk it. I'm going to try and get to this white flag.
I would have to agree. And no, I was just asking Baker about, we had the PGR Summer Slam coming up and how you felt about it, but we'll go ahead and hold off on that for now because you're right. We're getting down to crunch time here. And what happened to the 18 here? This was just a lap ago, and this was almost that caution that we were dreading, potentially seeing here in the late going as the 18 just gets turned by the 54. Huge hit into the outside wall for Kevin Biggs. One of the new rookies making his start tonight, and that's really unfortunate. As we got another car in the grass here on the front stretch as the leaders, or not the leaders, but rather some of these groups behind, they're getting 3 wide. They're getting antsy, Baker. 4 laps to go. I don't know if we're going to make this thing all the way to the white.
Yeah, a lot of single car incidents, just waiting for it to be that one big incident that's going to happen. Hopefully it's not up towards the front, 3 wide towards the back stretch right now. Everyone racing all over.
And that was Brock Westmoreland, by the way, who you just saw on the quick replay there. They got involved. Oh, Garrett. Oh, my goodness. Almost a wreck right there as the one tried to slide in line in front of the 22 of Omar Diallo. Again, those guys are not racing for position. However, well, I guess they are to a degree as, of course, right now they're on the lead lap by being in front of Malik Ray. And if you're Cody Nagels here, a lot of people ask, when do you make the move? But you said it, Baker, and I agree. I think you wait till the last lap, but it looks like he's ready to go a little bit sooner here. Matt Lee's got to run, and they're going to try to go to the front. Mullahan, but now Malik Ray is going to jump to make the block. Nagels takes him 3rd lane. Now Garrett's going to move up to the middle. Looks top, nothing there. Now he's going to get stuck in the middle as that'll push the 45 of Michael Guest. Not for position, but as the car leading this group. And now Cody Nagels still rolling up top with Matt Lee. They're going to get clear to jump to the middle. The 48 going to jump to the middle as well now. John Mullahan maybe thinking about making a move of his own. Could Mullahan maybe get a win here tonight?
Three wide out there. Everyone all over the place. Cody Nagels is the leader there at the line. Who's going to be the leader as we're coming to take the white flag? We're going to get a green flag
Don't
racing
say it
here.
yet. Don't say it yet.
I think we're going to get it. I'm calling it.
All right, certainly hoping so. Less than half a straightaway to go here once they work their way out of turn number 4. Cody Nagels leading the top. Matt Lee, they are in great position. John Mullahan, the next closest one to have a chance. Malik on the bottom, he's going to need some help here. But looks like Michael Guest might be providing that help. We are going to do it officially. All green the whole way through. 1 lap to go at Talladega, and Nagels leads him into 1.
Big side draft from Cody Nagels. He's not going to be able to stop him. Oh, he does there on the exit. A little bit loose there on the bottom, but they're going to save it. They're going to be a drag race down the back.
And where did Malik Ray come from? He got help from Michael Guest. Now Kyler Wynn, third tandem. They're going to get a big run here. As now Cody Nagels loses his help. Matt Lee may have gotten a little bit hot under the hood. John Mullahan has nothing to do now but try to push. Oh, Nagels gets out of shape. He's trying to save it. Matt Lee has to go high. Cody Nagels loses his run as now Garrett's going to try to help him out. Down off of turn number 4, Malik Ray leading. Nobody out back that's going to have a chance. How about this? Dominated the whole race. He won $4,000 last night. He's going to win $225 tonight. Malik Ray wins it at Talladega.
Malik Ray wins. Cody Nagels second. John Mullahan third. Who's going to get that 4th and 5th spot? It's going to be between Kevin Freese, Andrew Navarro.
And looks like Navarro tries to cross over, but didn't have to cross over Kevin Freese, so Navarro locks up the 4th spot. Kevin Freese rounds out the money positions tonight as he finishes in 5th. And you know what, Baker? It was a great race at the end, but that's one that I think you got to feel like it was a well-deserved one. Malik, I think fair to say, did the best job on pit strategy all night. And when it's a green flag race, pit strategy wins it. So he'll bring it around here to do some celebrations as he gets ready to here. Gives us a chance to look at your finishing results. And, of course, make sure you stick around because we will be getting interviews with your top 3. You know, before we go to results here, I want to go back and actually look at this checkered flag and show you one more time kind of where it all went wrong for Cody Nagels. It looked like this was going to be a lot closer of a finish than it was, and it kind of all disintegrated once we got in probably just about to turn number 3 is where it all seemed like it fell apart. So watch for Nagels here. We're going to go to the blimp cam. Watch Nagels and Lee up top. Good run, and oh, no, it wasn't that Lee got hot. He just got Cody a little bit out of shape, it looks like. And then maybe at that point he got hot, but it's hard to say. Yeah, I think he still did get hot at that point. You see him bail off a little bit. Now he's going to try to regroup and get back on the back bumper of Nagels here. And as he does, gets him with another hit that's just a little bit offset. Not bad, but at that point, the runs in these cars, Baker, they just take a lot to charge up, and you need a little bit of time to do so. Once you get the run, they're big runs, but he just ran out of time by that point, and Mullahan was back there kind of caught up in that mess. So Malik Ray here not really having to stress as Michael Guest just pushes him through the trial. Says nicely done.
I'm extremely impressed right now. Extremely impressed that we just went green to green there, flag to flag. Malik Ray dominated most of this race, and it just came down to pit stops. And this kind of racing is what proves that I want to see this for the SummerSlam. It's going to take a ton of skill, and Cody Nagels. I mean, your last 2 ERA winners right here, Daytona and Cody Nagels, and Malik Ray here at Iowa on Wednesday. So you got $8,000 between those top 2. Excellent job by these guys.
Absolutely. Well, before we go get your top 3, let's look at your finishing results here tonight. Again, Malik Ray takes home the win. It's Cody Nagels bringing home second. John Mullahan rounds out the podium. Andrew Navarro back in fourth. Kevin Freese rounds out your top 5 in the last money position. And then it's Jason Maines in 6th, Joe Herda in 7th, J.R. Miller in 8th, Richard Elliott 9th, and Michael Triscaro rounding out your top 10. DJ Daniels, good run for him. He finishes in 11th. Mike Davenport in 12th. Jeff Merck in 13th with Sean Conklin in 14th. Jeremy Osborne 15th. Joshua McCullough in 16th. Going on back to 17th, it's Ron Morris Jr. with Michael Guest back in 18th. And rounding out your top 20 here tonight is going to be Omar Diallo and Zach Range. By the way, think about that. With the way that sets up, I think that means in total we may have only had about 17 to 20 cars left on the lead lap by the end of that race. Zach Range finishes in 21st, Garrett Maines 22nd, Landon Valecki in 23rd, Dylan Jones in 24th. Matt Lee finishes 25th. Christopher McCullough 27th. Christopher McCullough in 26th. Ken McCullough Jr. in 27th. Tucker McClendon in 28th. Nathan Roskell finishes 29th with Sierra Clampert in 30th. 31st, Matt Johnson, Brandon Broadfoot in 32nd. Mark Math, 33rd with Jared Hayes in 34th. Logan York, 35th. Stephen Miles, 36th. John Ward in 37th with Tyler Butler in 38th. Mark Vondell, 39th. And John Ellis Jr. rounds out the top 40. Jacob Emery finishes 41st. Francisco Villarreal in 42nd. Kevin Biggs, 43rd. Brock Westmoreland, 44th. Cameron Rourke, 45th. Sean Corbett, 46th. Jesse Calloway in 47th with Josh Giambrone in 48th. And Devin Ray rounding out the field tonight as he finishes in 49th. All right, we're going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Talladega. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start first here tonight with your third place finisher, John Mullahan. Matthew Baker stands by with him.
Hey, Mullahan, it's Austin and Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Well, to say the least, this is one of the most entertaining races that I've been able to race control. From the booth, we made this as exciting as we could, and I feel like it got really exciting there towards the end, but congrats on a podium finish of a green flag race here in PGR in the Gen 6. It just attests to the pit stops that you were able to put together. Just talk to me through the entire race, and what do you think you could have done better, if any, to get higher than third there?
Well, obviously there at the end, I feel like Matt Lee made a mistake there. I don't know if there was some miscommunication between him and Cody there up front, but I felt like we had hung Malik out and we kind of locked up 1 and 2, and I told him on the race comms, I was committed to Cody, 100%, but I was content either way. This is back-to-back podium finishes in the pinnacle of all money racing series, so I'm pretty happy tonight.
Definitely happy, and we're able to string together the pit stops, not luck up. He had the big hitters of Garrett Maines, Dylan Jones, Kyler Wynn, Omar, Michael Guest, pros and pros of super speedway racing that were able to not control their cars coming onto pit road. What was your mindset coming into the pit stops? Not much that we talk about, but how conservative did you play it coming down pit road?
Well, luckily I was up front all night with a lot of those heavy hitters. I didn't really get to practice much. I was kind of on the fence about running tonight, as I'm not usually very competitive in these cars. But after the first pit stop, I was able to kind of gauge how quickly we could brake in these cars. And they do stop fairly well with a quick downshift or whatever. We did get loose there on 1, and we almost lost it, but we were able to get it back together. I think it was maybe Freese and Eagles with me coming in. I got a little squirrely there, but we were able to maintain it, and it paid off for us tonight.
Yeah, the one set of tires definitely comes into play, and with a high track temp, it gets a little greasy out there towards the end. So great job hanging on for a third place. Who'd you like to thank?
Oh, man, first off, you guys up in the booth for putting on this awesome broadcast. Michael Triscaro for this awesome racing series. Both my sons, Carter and Jackson, my fiance, Brittany, all the guys down at Will Jewelry Loan, Canal Valley Key and Fob, and McCullough Motorsports. Thank you guys so much.
All right, well, that's your third place finisher, John Mullahan. Thanks for talking to us, buddy.
Take care, guys.
All right, and now that'll bring us to your second place finisher here tonight, Cody Nagels. Matthew Baker stands by with him as well.
Hey, Cody, it's Matt and Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, a good week for you. You had a great running at Iowa for the practice that you had, and coming in here, the last 2 ERA racers finished a 1-2 finish there, $8,000 between you. You guys are able to put on a show and really execute on the pit stops. What more could you have done there to get the win?
I kind of wanted to just wait a little bit longer because I know how these runs are, and I knew, I was trying to talk to Matt, and he kind of wanted me to catch him off guard, and I wanted to take the approach of kind of waiting, and I just decided to go with him, but I knew in my head that it was going to be too soon because Malik had all of his friends there, and I kind of just needed to be patient and pick them off one by one, and yeah, just needed to make the move, just a little bit later.
Yeah, well, nonetheless, I mean, You guys executed on pit stops all day. Like I was telling Mollahan, you had Garrett and Omar and Kyler and Guest speeding early, and a lot of people messing up on pit road. I mean, Kevin Freeze, not a guy to make a mistake at all, and he spins his tires. How did you approach the pit stops, pit exit, and just getting into your box in these cars?
Man, one extra set of tires really didn't give you too much leeway getting out of the box as far as like you didn't have fresh tires in the race. I mean, the whole race goes green, so nobody ever seen new right sides, and you only seen lefts once. I had to do like low RPM and just kind of let the car grip the track and feel the car out, because if you would give it any extra throttle at all, like if you thought you were in the Xfinity car, I mean, you'd just go around. I mean, these cars are powerful, and you really just had to be patient, let the car grab, and then go. But second place finish, but honestly, I'm disappointed because I know I could have took it if I'd have just played my cards right, and I knew when I made the move it was too soon. But I was trying to commit to the team strategy, but yeah, it's frustrating because I wanted to win number 8 and just to fall this short in a green flag race. I mean, it was a fantastic race, and I felt like you were probably watching. I wasn't even in the lead pack really right until the very end, because I went to the back, rode around, and then just started picking people off with just, good green flag pit stops, and just to fall short like that's disappointing.
Yeah, watching you go to the back and able to, I really thought after the first pit stop it wasn't gonna happen for you guys, because Malik got hooked up there with his teammates that had went a lap down, and they started to really open up a gap and then maintain their pace to you guys about 2.5 seconds. But you guys did a great job getting on pit road, and they had a little bit of miscommunication. Whenever Malik started blinking, you guys are able to tuck right back up and get there at the fight. But nonetheless, second place finish come up just a little bit short. I'd say that's no. Last week was a pretty big gap with Mollahan, but this is a pretty big gap of a green flag race to have a 1 second gap, second place finish. So who'd you like to thank? Shout out.
I want to thank you guys at PGR, you and Mike, for putting on all of these races and broadcasts and everything you do. I want to thank Dawson for spotting me, and guys I was running with tonight, Matt Lee and Steven Miles. I'm glad, that Matt was able to get back around and help me. And like I said, just wish I could have done a little more. But at the end of the day, P2, and I mean, this is about as loaded of a field, I think, as we've seen in PGR in quite some time. So I can't really be upset with that.
Loaded as a field as we've had, no wrecks. I mean, a green flag race, you can't ask for much more, and a great second place finish. Thanks for talking to us, Cody.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and now that'll bring us to tonight's winner, Malik Ray. Malik, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Well, I'll tell you what, it may not be quite $4,000, but it's still a lot of money, and what it was a dominant performance here tonight. We go flag to flag green, and you execute on pit road all day. First of all, take us through the pit strategy and how you kind of were, first of all, able to execute, and then what was going through your head there as the field kept getting more and more broken up.
I was just trying to make sure that every time I came on pit road that I was just easing it on it every time, especially like after the first stop, because, like everyone got speeding, and I was just trying to make sure that, I wasn't one of the ones that got speeding. So I would just ease into it and make sure that, I just had a smooth entry every time.
Certainly had that. Now, it's kind of at that point with, and I want to bring it up. You got the win last night. You get the win here tonight. And, as a driver, we see it a lot in money racing in general, where you start to get in a little bit kind of a zone. You start to go on a tear. And it seems like you might be starting to enter that territory. Do you feel like with the win here tonight, you've maybe started to gain some momentum and maybe look to go back-to-back in PGR here next week?
Yeah. It definitely feels like it right now. It's just everything's going my way. Like I'm catching breaks, like if I need a break, I'm racing smart. I'm not getting crashed. So, everything's definitely going my way now for sure.
And then last question we got before we let you go here tonight was, at the end there, we saw things start to pick up, get a little racy with Cody Nagels there and a couple others. Did you have any communication with teammates that were maybe a lap down there? And did you guys have to kind of plan out how you were going to execute that last lap? Or did you ultimately just kind of have to go with the flow there at the end?
I knew Mike had 4 tires, so I came down in front of him, and Kyler and Omar, I think they just followed suit. Like, I didn't have to talk to them. Like, they already knew, like what the plan was. Like, once me and Mike got, lined up on the inside, they just followed through. And then Kyler was able to push Mike down the back straightaway after after I think he got a push from Omar, and it was able to push us through the side draft. And after that, it was it was curtain.
Well, you win one of the greatest races in PGR Series history, so congrats on that. But before we let you head out to celebrate here tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I got to thank John D. Merck. I learned everything from him, all of my sim racing skills as far as plate tracks and stuff. I learned it all from him. And Kyler and Michael Guest and Omar, all down the back straightaway, and Garrett and John Ellis, because I know they were helping us pull away from the pack, so I appreciate them for helping out.
Thank you, of course, for talking to us. Again, congrats on the win, and hopefully we'll see you out here next week.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, there you go, Malik Ray, tonight's winner. And boy, what a race it was. Well, Baker, there's not too many notes to really talk about on this one. Again, phenomenal race. We went clean, flag to flag, as you put it, and a little bit of racing at the end. I can't think of anything else that I could have asked for in that race. How about you?
No, this replaced the team draft. We were kind of nervous coming into Talladega with the Gen 6. We know how crazy and chaotic it is. And you saw it on the first run when everyone's packed up together. You see the 3 wide, you see the 2 wide, but everyone was able to hang on. They ran great, but they ran smart. Not many incidents out there on track that really were turning my head. So really impressed. In a 50 car field to have 49 car field to have no yellow flags and only a couple single car incidents. You can't ask for much more, and it just attests to this car. It takes skill to get down pit road, and these guys proved it in Malik Ray, Cody Nagels, and John Mullahan all night, able to execute, stay in the lead draft, and able to use their teammates to get themselves the win, and just a big congrats to those 3.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from Talladega. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. We will be back next week with more PGR eSports. Until then, that'll do it for me, Austin Green, and Matthew Baker on PGR eSports. Have a good night.